you're in high ticket sales, this episode is for you. I want to help you create an opportunity to get more customers the way you want them, where you want them, and how you want them. And this is one of the best lessons I've ever learned in high ticket sales. And that is creating your perfect customer, right? Understanding who your perfect customer is. Folks, a lot of times we're in high ticket sales and we know what we sell, we know our value, we know what kind of things it brings to the room, but then we have a hard time tracking down the who, right? The client, the customer. And here's what's most important about that. The client and the customer have to be defined by you first. The fact is, if you're chasing your tail trying to find the right people, it's because you haven't decided who those people need to be first. This is kind of a reverse engineering way of getting to the meat and potatoes of the people that you want to have in that room, in that event, in that mastermind, in that group. Whatever your high ticket sale item is, how do you know your avatar if you haven't spent time figuring out who that person's going to be, right? You want to make sure that you have it dialed into basically a core values of those type of people. So I want to actually dial in. I want to give you a real life example of a mastermind that I run, and we do high ticket sales for an event, very small events, intimate events that are for high level achievers, for people to get better and grow their business and grow their personal life and be all around better people, right? But it's a high ticket sale item. It's something that is very small, it's very compact, and it's very competitive, right? But how do we know who needs to be in that room? Well, for me, the people that need to be in that room, as an example, need to be coachable. They need to be capable of being mentored, right? They need to be able to take advice and then put that advice into action, right? So that makes them coachable. Number two, they have to be able to afford it, right? If you're selling a message or you're selling a high-ticket item and you're selling it to an audience that's broad but they can't afford it, well, then what's the point, right? So number two for me is they have to be able to afford it. Number three is they have to have drive. They have to have drive, and they need to have clarity to where that drive is taking them, right? They don't have to have extreme or ultimate every step of the way clarity, because if they did, then they probably wouldn't need to be in the room, right? But they need to at least know where they want to go, what their goals are to achieve, and some sort of clarity around how they're going to get to that point, right? In order to be qualified to make it in the room. Number four is they have to get rid of self-limiting beliefs. A lot of us have self-limiting beliefs. If they have self-limiting beliefs, I want to attack them on our first phone call. So I know I'm not dealing with somebody who may on the onset be coachable and they could afford it and they have drive, but then they're beating themselves to death on the back end, right? So a lot of times that can be handled up front. That can be handled quickly, but you want to make sure, in my opinion, in my personal core values, I want to make sure we can tackle self-limiting beliefs, right? Number five is, to me, they have to be loyal. They have to have loyalty to the vision, loyalty to the value we're bringing, loyalty to the other people in the room, most importantly, so that when they get there, that they're going to create value for others in exchange for value back. We want people that are able to be loyal for the long haul. And the last one, but last but not least, is they have to be ready to level up. They have to be ready to make a change. And that comes from, again, probing questions, deciding, hey, the decisions that got you here, you're going to have to make some more difficult decisions, some more uncomfortable decisions to get you to the next place. Are you capable and you ready to level up? So for me, those are the 6 cultural things that have to make sense. Now, how do we boil it down to the perfect 25? Perfect 25 comes from knowing people, engaging with people, talking to people, trying to figure out if they are in line with these things before we get them on the first initial interview call, right? And for a lot of times, you're already engaging. If you have a high-ticket sales piece and you have a social media account and you have the ability to reach out to people and you've been in business for any mere amount of time, you know enough people. So now you can start to put that avatar together, focus in on these top things that are most important to you. Now, again, these are my things. They might be different for you. You might be putting a spin on it. You might decide that somebody who lives locally is more important because you don't feel like traveling. Like, for me, I don't mind if it's local because I like to travel, do events. Our next event now is in Napa next month, right? And so I like to go to Napa. I go there twice a year. For me, it's a way to get away and still create value for others while I'm out there. So for me, location is not really important. They'll come to us for the event, right? Or I'll go to a remote location. But make sure that all of your things, they could be 5 things, 10 things, doesn't matter. Whatever your values are for those people, make sure you list them all out. And then create a physical list of people that you can turn around and say, that person fits my criteria. I got this list off of a buddy of mine named Ryan. And Ryan, when I first interviewed him, he joked around. He said, "You're not going to believe this. You're on my top 25 list." And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I followed up with him about something else. I wanted to get into a program, wanted to, get a level up. So I hired Ryan. And when I did, he said, "You're one of my perfect customers. You're on my top 25. I thought he was joking. And then I started to realize that is a very powerful thing. Having those people in your mind, being grateful for them in your life, focusing your attention on them. Eventually, if you want to get them as part of your group, to get them involved in your group, you need to have them named. You need to literally create that list. So, create the perfect 25, put the core values together, and go after it and reach your dreams.